Thank you very much. And I want to begin by thanking all of you who are here this afternoon to focus the attention of the world where it should be focused, and that is on bringing democracy to Iran. My mission as an American has two parts. One sounds easier than focusing world attention, and that is to get my government to accept and act on the simple fact that one direct way to help bring democracy to Iran is to stop obstructing the MEK with the unjust designation of foreign terrorist organization. And the second task, which is closely related, is also directed at my government, and that is to get the United States to use the considerable influence that it has with the Maliki government and the considerable leverage that it has to stop the harassment of Ashraf, protect its residents, and if they are to be resettled, to do so outside Iraq, not within it. The first of those tasks should be simple. After all, it's not a step that requires a great investment of wealth or that places our armed forces at risk. It involves simply having the moral courage to admit that a past policy pursued over several administrations, Democrat and Republican, has outlived its usefulness, and that is the mistaken policy of continuing to list the MEK as a foreign terrorist organization. Today, and for years before today, MEK, under the leadership of brave Madame Rajavi, stands explicitly for a democratic, non-nuclear, secular republic in Iran. The MEK members who live in Ashraf have given up the weapons that they could have used to defend themselves and put their welfare in the hands of coalition forces after the 2003 invasion of Iraq. They accepted the solemn assurance of the coalition, and specifically of American generals, that they would be treated as protected persons under international law. And so, in addition to accepting the word of our military that the residents of Ashraf would be protected, the MEK went to our courts to undo the unjust designation by resorting to the law. And so in July 2010, the MEK won a ruling from the Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit that the Secretary of State must reconsider the designation of MEK as a foreign terrorist organization because the information she was relying on was not sufficient. And where do we stand today? Well, this brings me to my second task, because in Ashraf, the organization that surrendered its arms and placed itself under international protection in 2003, to the point where residents of Ashraf each received a registration card designating her or him as a protected person, have been attacked twice by Iraqi troops, once in July 2009, once in April 2011, and both times when the Secretary of Defense of the United States was present in Iraq, the last time resulting in the murder of more than 35 defenseless women and men using weapons and vehicles that were supplied by the United States and were operated by troops trained by the United States, and the United States has done nothing about it. And what about the listing of MEK, which the Secretary of State was ordered in July 2010 to reconsider? Well, almost a year later, that review has not yet been completed, and the State Department has offered no estimate of when it might be completed. The State Department seems to be engaged in a strategy of endless delay. If this strategy somehow comes from the hope that somehow democracy can be achieved gradually under the regime now in power, that hope should long ago have been abandoned. I think that trying to achieve democracy gradually in Iran under the current regime is like trying to go gradually from driving on the left to driving on the right. The only thing you can guarantee by doing that is that people will be killed, and indeed people have been killed. This is not a time for supporting half measures. There is one organization and one alone that stands for immediate democratic change in Iran, and that is MEK. The only way to enable MEK to function is to remove it from the list of foreign terrorist organizations, because that listing also gives both Iran and Iraq the perfect excuse to mistreat residents of Ashraf. If that listing were removed, not only would there be no further excuse provided by the United States for Iran and Iraq to mistreat MEK members, but also MEK could rally the support of the American people. For example, we could allow the American people to see and hear Mrs. Rajavi, whose eloquence and dignity give her a star power that puts hope in your hearts and fear in the hearts of the mullahs. That power could be unleashed to do a world of good. A great president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, called my country the last best hope of earth. And I think it's possible that those words may be even truer today than they were when he spoke them in the middle of the 19th century. But they can be true only if the United States not only is a great power, but acts like one. What I am asking my government, in short, is to stop acting based on its fears and start acting based on its hopes and ideals, by allowing Iranians who want freedom for their country to act on those hopes and ideals as well. Thank you very much for your attention, and every good wish to you in pursuit of your cause, which is the cause of free people the world over. Thank you very much.